This is your friendly neighborhood host, JT Whitley, back for another episode of the History of Comics podcast. This time with another edition of the classics, with, of course, one of the great classic comic book stories of all time, Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. This was a brilliant 4-issue miniseries that was released from February to June of 1986, written and drawn by Frank Miller, that imagines a Bruce Wayne at 55 living in a decrepit Gotham City who suddenly decides to redon the Batman costume after being out of retirement for decades. What's interesting about this story is that it actually is supposed to take place in 1986, as Frank Miller stated that no, the Batman of the 1960s, that's the version of Batman where this is happening, and so forth. So in many ways, he actually argues that this is the Adam West Batman having grown up and becoming more jaded and dark. And it also references other things like apparently the reason why Batman quit was because the Joker killed Robin, and that made him hang up the tights for 20 years. But when things get really bad in Gotham, notably the return of Two-Face, Batman has no choice but get back into action. It's a great, gritty storyline with some political commentary, a lot of humor too. Ronald Reagan is more or less depicted in that like he was the president at the time, but that's how politics goes, so forth. And also a fantastic fight with Superman at the end. It remains one of the most iconic moments in either character's history. And this beautiful, gritty artwork. And this comic book, it has to be read to believe. It was the 4-issue miniseries was, of course, brilliant. And then later, when it was recollected as a trade in 1987, this, along with the Watchmen trade, really helped launch the trades in general, and comic book series being collected into trades and resold. And, of course, you had the great trade paperbacks. And, of course, it was part of 1986, arguably the greatest year of comic books ever in America. Because you had Dark Knight Returns, you had The Watchmen, you had Crisis of Infinite Earths, you had Daredevil Born Again, and of course Batman Year One will come out a little bit later on. It's incredible, this string of great comic book stories that came out during this time. So yeah, unfortunately I was like 7. I had no idea what was going on. I only heard about Batman Dark Knight Returns years later because it influenced so much Batman afterwards. I mean, many people consider this the breaking point where Batman truly went the grim and gritty. Though it should be pointed out that during the 1970s, Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams and Steve Englehart did a great job reestablishing his more serious roots. But this was like the point where it goes, nope, can't be Batman. Adam West is gone. We now have grim and gritty Batman. Maybe too much of a reaction to it because, like I said, you go back and read this comic book, there's a lot of humor in this thing too. It's not as dark and gritty as people make it out to be. There's a great bit about Carrie the new Robin, how her parents just forget she's around anymore and stuff like that. But overall, this is a great story. Of course, I heard about this because when I got into the Batman 89 with Michael Keaton, and that thing blew me away. People kept going, what is Batman Dark Knight Returns? Was a big influence. Like, what the heck is the Batman The Dark Knight Returns? Sure enough, I picked this thing up, and I never wanted to put it down. It's a beautiful edition, great comic book for me in the end. It's really, like I said, it's influenced every Batman since then. It's influenced all the way up to Batman v Superman, which is that Batman is very much influenced, played wonderfully by Ben Affleck in the Batman v Superman. And he's one of the best things about the movie, which is not a very good movie, but he's a good. Batfleck is, honestly, I think Ben Affleck is pound for pound the best Batman ever put on live action. Of course, any real fan knows that the best Batman is Kevin Conroy for Batman Animated Series, which also, by the way, had a nice reference to this Batman The Dark Knight as well, one of their classic episodes. And yeah, all in all, Batman The Dark Knight Returns, true classic from beginning to end, highly recommended. It's easily in my top 5. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's a classic. Just pick it up. So yeah, if you're at a local comic book store, if you haven't read the Batman The Dark Knight Returns, if you haven't read it in a while, pick it up anyway. Trust me, true classic, easily. And now it is August 20th, 2020. Time for the favorite comic book of the week. Batman, number 97, by James Tynion IV and Georgia Jimenez, which finds Batman suffering from a psychedelic attack from the Joker, who has desecrated the theater where he went when his parents got shot, and with his only hope being, of all people, Harley Quinn. Meanwhile, the mysterious clown hunter is making a name for himself in the Narrows that it throws even the Joker for a loop, as he's not a part of his overall plan. Overall, Tynion IV does a great job really showing the Joker that's just pulling all the gloves, that's really just hitting Batman where it hurts. I mean, what he does in the theater is just wrong in many ways. And the Joker, this is a guy the Joker has done so many horrible things. He's like, good grief, man. It's insane. And the Joker even points out, like, all these people could have been alive if you just killed me, Batman, years ago, which is, like, really digs the knife in about Batman's no killing rule. But the Joker, as it points out, he's gone all out. Punchline remains this evil henchman that you understand, like, wow, yeah, Harley, I miss Harley being with the Joker, but she might have held him back too, but Harley's in a better place. We all know that. And I love how Harley helps Batman out in her own crazy way, because let's be honest, even though Harley's kind of a good guy now, she's still kind of crazy. So she helps out in her own crazy way. And of course, George Dominion's art is beautifully detailed and gorgeous, especially when it gets into Batman's psychedelic trips and so forth. So yeah, this Joker is building up very nicely, this Joker War storyline up to Batman number 100, and I can't wait to see where this goes, and of course how it ties into, of course, the crazy miniseries, the Three Jokers storyline, which is coming out pretty soon. Yeah, can't wait for that. So yeah, if you haven't kept Batman in a while, definitely check these up. So yeah, whole Batman theme for this week. Batman The Dark Knight Returns, obviously the one Batman story everyone has to read, and Batman number 97. So you make it to your local comic store. There's a lot of good Batman stuff to pick up. And please do it if you can, support everything. And if you do make it to the store, be sure to pick up Batman The Dark Knight Returns, because that is a true classic.